This video will show you the basic navigation within Skyward. From your login page, simply log in, given the login information that your tech director or key contact provided you. Once you log in, you'll see your Skyport page. This page is a customizable page that you can set up to your liking. Your district makes certain widgets available to you. If you would like to move things around, you can grab on the widgets and move those around. If you don't want to see certain ones, you can actually click the little X to remove those. There's information about those. There's ways to refresh the certain screen that's on if it doesn't have the most updated information. And if there's a widget that's not here that you were looking for, you can go up to the Select Widgets link and you can look for something else that might be in there that your district has made available to you. If you see something that you want to put into your Skyport page, just check the box, click Save, and the widget will appear. To move on, to go advance into the system where you'll actually do your work, you're going to click on the link that you need to go into. For this purpose in these videos, we're going to focus on the student management area. And this is what Skyward looks like for office personnel, for secretaries, principals, guidance counselors. The links that are available at the top you may or may not see once you get your account. And some of these things might be added as we go through the conversion, but this is all driven on security. Likewise, you may or may not also see the product setup area. If you have access to creating accounts or anything like that, maybe some other areas within the system, you may or may not have access to this. Most of you are going to have access to the student management area only. Right now we're just going to focus on the very basics. So up at the top you'll see your name when you're logged in. To the right of that you'll have an account link. You can click on that. It just shows you the basic information that's in the system about you. A unique code that's unique to your name. It's called the name key. Your username, last time you changed a password, email that the system has on file for you, and phone numbers, address, that kind of thing. You also have a login history button, which show you all the times that you've logged in. It would show you if you ever didn't type your password in the right way or if you got locked out of the system, that kind of thing. As you're moving through the system, you want to click the back button if it's available, otherwise you can click the red X. The button to the right of Account is Preferences. I'm not going to go over all of these in this video, but these are just some things that you can do to set up your account and how your screen looks. Spell check, an open and save dialog, so anytime that you save a document or run a report, it will open up the option to open and save this. And you notice that as I'm moving through this, as I mouse over these different options, you'll see the tooltip appear. And that's if this is in bold. You'll see it appear for those two. For the other preferences that have a question mark next to them, if you click on the question mark, it gives you a little bit more information about that preference. The best tip for this area is to try a preference or two if you think you want a certain area, like a larger font size, might help you in some areas. Again, I would recommend reading the information in the question mark and then try it, save it. You can always go back and either reset things the way they used to be, back to the default setting, or you can go back and uncheck whatever you've checked, save again, and adjust your preferences that way. To the right of preferences is an exit link. Anytime you're working in a web-based software system, it's a good idea to exit or log out before you leave the web page instead of using the red X to close the screen. And then finally, you have a question mark. The question mark actually opens up several options for you. The main one I'm going to focus on here is called the SkyDoc, or Skyward Documentation. Skyward Documentation is Skyward's online tutorials, a lot of handouts, things like that, some videos even. And the best way to use SkyDoc that I've found is you can either open this up right now and search on a topic, or you can drill down into a certain area within Skyward. And if you're on a certain screen, you can then click on SkyDoc for assistance if you needed assistance or information on a specific task. So here is the SkyDoc built directly for the screen and the tab that I was on. You can control the SkyDoc with the radio buttons or the VCR buttons at the top, and you can progress through the different screens that they have on there. If you noticed from the first screen, I can print this tutorial, so I can get a paper copy, or I could print it to PDF if I wanted to save that somewhere. But remember that they're all built in within the system and they're available for you anytime. If you don't use the buttons up here, the tutorial will progress automatically. It will go through and giving you enough time to read it. The other basics of navigation that I wanted to cover in this video is the ability to change between schools. If you have access to more than one school or entity or track, as we used to call it in Zangle, all you have to do is click on the pull down arrow and switch to the other school that you want to go to. You'll notice that what happens is you stay on the exact screen that you were just on. Not only the screen as far as the top level, like student profile as I'm in right here, but also the specific tab that I had selected. So the equivalent would be in Student Editor. If you're actually on the Student Editor General tab or State tab, for example, you would be able to switch entities, switch schools right there and stay on that tab and go right to that school for the next student that you need to look up. Just like in Zangle Front Office, you had buttons that took you to different places. You have a top row of navigation buttons in Skyward. The big difference is that you don't have to drill in 3 or 4 or 5 times to get to the location that you want to get to. So in other words, if I were going to Student Editor in Zangle, I would go Student and Student Profile here in Skyward, and it's just one click and I'm to the areas that I need to be, and I have access to all the different areas that I would need access to in Student Editor. So any of the areas that you have access to, everything is pretty much 2 clicks away. You click on the top banner, and if you need to go into entry by class for attendance as an example, the second click gets you to that area. To get back, you can click on the top banner again to go somewhere else. You can use the small pull down arrow here in the middle, and this will let you go to any of the links that you've gone before. You can also use this back arrow, which doesn't quite work the way that maybe you think it does. It doesn't go to the very last click that you did, but instead it takes you back to the main area that you were above before. So in this case, you see I went from Office, Entry, Class by Activity. If I go back, I'm going back to Student Profile. That'll take a little bit of getting used to, but once you get the hang of it, the navigation is really pretty simple. That is a very basic look at the navigation within Skyward.